It was 2015, March 2nd, my first day of build. I, I'm grateful for my time here at Build. Um, honestly, I've loved and learned through every single minute of the work that has happened here. I'm excited, certainly, for my next opportunity. It's bittersweet because you work with a great group of people and you build relationships and we have a morning coffee routine. There's a little breakfast club that gets together every morning to kind of warm up, get our coffee, and get the day started. Um, so I certainly will miss the relationships that I have here with my team and folks that I work with. Um, but let me just kind of lay a little bit of background. Build currently is in a good position both financially. We've got an amazing leadership team, of course. Kirsten, Bradley, Andres, Monique, and Chris, who are the chiefs who are managing big chunks of the work here at Build. And we've really fostered a team that is open and honest about their communication. We push back with each other if there's a disagreement or if we have some other ways of thinking about a situation. But in the end, the thing that has threaded each and every one of us has been the mission of Build, our heart's desire for young people in community that has not changed or wavered. I feel great about the team that has been built. We've built collectively together. We found the right secret sauce and combination of people that will do great work together here at the organization and have built that. Um, so I leave knowing that Build is in great hands with the team that is here every day, the leadership team that is the steward of the institution, and of course, people who are doing the work every single day. Grateful for the board because the board has worked hard to make sure that Build is successful, that I have been supported, that I have been able to be successful. And that's another sign of what a healthy, strong organization is that the board knows the sort of important decisions that it has to make. Moving and into 5100 from 1223 Milwaukee was a big first move for Build. It was in 2011, but they believed in the power of what Build could do. And then fast forward to 2018, 2019, when the board agreed again that we need to do something more because we're out of space. And while it was risky, um, a little bigger than all of us, but we all knew in our hearts and knew from the work that our young people and our families in the community deserved something of the scale and size. And the board has been incredibly supportive and visionary in that sense because it's much easier to hold back, to be fearful, to know the risk and say it's too risky of an opportunity for us. But they held on and said, yes, let's do it. And so collectively, we've been able to bring this campus to life. We've been able to really be not just a beacon in our neighborhood, but honestly, a beacon to other institutions across the city and more recently, nationally. We had a group from Kansas City come out to learn what is Build's secret sauce? How does Build do its work? How did we galvanize folks in the community? How did we think about this campus, which has so many great things happening in it? And that's been fun to share the story, but it wasn't certainly Adam Alonso. It's the entire Build team, right? It's everyone who's here. It's everyone who works here every single day. And we get to share that with them. And there's another group that came from Dayton, Ohio, also coming to learn and understand and really be in a position to take back to their elected officials, to their foundations, to their people to do more and better. So, Build is in a great space. There's always learning. I would say that I think we're kind of our own critics. We're always looking for ways to improve. We're always looking at ways that we can make a system better internally. We're always looking for ways to have new services, better services for our community and our young people. That doesn't change. That is through each and every one of us. We have this sort of continuous quality improvement, if you will, that we all hold on to. It's not an exact formal process per se, but it's what we always do because we know there's always opportunities to grow and to be our best. And so it's what kind of leads us also. Um, our core values, I'm so happy because that was created in a moment of Build's growth as well early on. Empathy, passion, persistence, and innovation. And we share this at onboarding with every new staff member. Um, all of our teams understand why there are elements of the work. They can see the core values in what they do, and we promote those heavily, and we continue to encourage the organization, its leaders, and certainly those who are in the front line to understand them and to own them deeply in their hearts. And that's what helps them to be their best when they do their work. Um, like I said, it's a bittersweet thing. Um, but Build is in great hands, and I leave knowing that the folks that I will be departing from are just incredible leaders that I've learned from over the years, and am proud to be colleagues alongside them. So, um, you know, the environment certainly um, at the federal level is different. It's scary in many ways. Um, but Build has never backed down from a fight. Build has never been afraid to step up and say, we know it's scary out there, but we're gonna fulfill our mission and we're gonna move the work forward. And so there's a sense of bravery that the organization institution has. And just seeing Adele this today just reminds me of uh, what it takes to start a nonprofit. They're hearing those stories and thinking about when they were all together, thinking about the importance of this work. That was brave because they came. Actually, it was from they lost funding from the YMCA, and in fact, is what pushed them to get Build started. But that's scary. If anyone who's done startup of anything, a business, a nonprofit, you know that is some scary business. Build did it. So today's environment, while very different, is scary. But our team, this organization, is positioned to continue to be brave, to be smart, to make the right choices, and to always hold, most importantly, young people and families at the center of those decisions. So I don't think anyone has to worry about that. You have nothing but sort of excitement and just belief that Build will always choose and make the right decisions because it is about the heart and service to community and young people.
Mhm.
Um,
Adam, we have a question in the chat here, which
yes.
wants to know about what do you think some of the biggest lessons you've learned yourself over these last 10 years about your work and yourself?
Good question. Um, I've learned um, I've learned the importance, believe it or not, of slowing down. Now, you would look and say, where did you slow down? But I do work with people who maybe favor a different pace. And it's for the act of learning. And hey, let's slow down a minute. Let's take a breath. Let's think it through. And that's been helpful in a lot. That's been a huge learning of mine. Because while I feel like time is of the essence, young people are dying, you don't have time. We just don't have enough of it. And to slow down feels kind of grates against who I feel I am. But I've been grateful for it because all the times that I have been asked to slow down or and learned from my colleagues maybe indirectly to slow down, and we've always had a better result in the end. Big lesson learned for me. Trusting and believing and working in partnership with the board was another lesson learned, and why you can actually do so much more when you're in partnership with the board. That's been great. And then young people, of course, I think I've always known this, but never cease to learn from them and their pearls of wisdom that they give in passing. And um, those are things I think that certainly mean a lot to me, but some of the big challenges I've learned. Oh, I've also learned that you have to stand up to bullies 100%. Have to, have to, have to. Um, and you will always have haters and naysayers that will never change. Um, but you cannot be distracted from your purpose. You cannot be distracted from the higher uh, calling or the work. The number of people who did not believe in this project or thought it would never happen, that's hard. That's a tough pill to swallow. Um, but I learned that you have to be tough. You have to continue to stay focused and believe and know that you will get to the other side. So some of the lessons I've learned.
There's a related question which is from, is it Arewa who sent it in? I know she's driving.
Yeah.
She wants to know what is one thorn and one rose of leadership that you can share with Bradley as which as this group may know will be our interim CEO as we go
Yep.
through this next phase.
Ooh, one thorn and one rose. Um, I think the thorn is when you know you've done so much on behalf of the people you work with and you're feeling good about some things and they come back and like, we don't care, or you don't get thanked, or in fact you get criticism for it instead. You're like, are you serious? I lost, years of my life and hours of sleep thinking about this, trying to get it right. Um, it's hard to please everyone, and that's always going to be a thorn. But I think again, the rose for me really has been to see families smile, has been seeing young people in here smile. Because you know what? Smiling and laughter is critical, right? We sometimes forget how important it is. And when young people are faced with lots of trauma and lots of unhappy feelings, to be able to see that when they walk in the door, when they're engaged in activity, that to me is truly the rose, which also is the signal to say why what we do is so important. And never, never, never to think or take for granted those smiles and the fact that someone feels that the weight may have been lifted, right? Those to me are such roses and beyond. So great question. Thanks, Arewa. And I'm just gonna, before you maybe ask the next question, I just want to say, um, Bradley and I first met when he worked at St. Joseph Services, and we were kind of gathering folks because in 2016, the rates of gun violence in Austin were skyrocketing. And we were trying to pull together organizations to understand what could we do in advance of the summer? Could we get in front of it? And so that's where I met Bradley, and we started bringing folks together to figure out what we would do. Summer of Opportunity was birthed out of this moment. And I just always saw Bradley as like such a great guy and a leader and someone who got it. Um, so I forgot if it was a year later at what point I was like, Bradley, you want to come over now? Or like, can we do this together and work more closely? And when he said yes, I think I almost lost my mind. I was like, holy shit, really? Like, you'll do this? Um, and so we spent 8 years together working, and I think that early connection to him jumping on board with us, and his first job was community engagement. What he didn't know was his first job was doing evenings in a park coordinating activities by himself um, for the entire summer. It was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? It was like 3 solid days. I was like, man, this poor guy. If he sticks it out, I know he's hardcore. He'll be all right. Um, but he did it. And not only did he just do it, but he made it so special. And when community came out and said, we have not been able to come to this park in so long. Thank you for making it safe. Thank you for being here. everyone was like, Bradley is amazing. I mean, I knew that already. So him stepping in as the interim and watching him grow over the years and really be a thought partner, um, and just really we aligned in so many ways philosophically has been great. I feel really good about him stepping into this role as interim. And so that's how I know Bradley from the beginning and have always been a fan of Bradley Johnson.
Well, the next question in the chat is actually, how are you and Bradley managing just this transition? And maybe talk about what's your timeline and how
Yep.
that's going.
Yep. Good question.
Bradley, please feel free to chime in if
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm letting Adam get all the feels going.
Um, my last day of build will be July 11th. It's interesting because on a Tuesday I made the announcement. Well, let me rewind. The Friday before I had talked to our board chair, um, and she thought I was kidding. Then I talked with each chief who thought I was kidding also. So it just made it really incredibly tough to say, no, this is my transition and happening. So Tuesday we told the staff, um, I'm not gonna lie, in my head, I said if I could go to sleep and wake up and it would be Wednesday so I could miss Tuesday when we were telling everyone, because it was gonna be so hard for me, I would have wanted that to happen. I'm glad that will never be the case, but I'm glad that I was wide awake for it. Our board chair set up the announcement very nicely. The staff was very, very warm and congratulatory, sad at the same time, bittersweet. Um, and from the transition, then on a Wednesday, I think it was interesting to know that you're a part of every single meeting in a lot of ways to the next day where you're interim. The new interim has to step in and now step into a role that's going to continue to move the work forward. So it's been great to see the team move the work forward. And I've been working closely with Bradley and meeting with Kirsten and Chris and the other chiefs more one-on-one just to kind of solidify, get some of the last things together. But that transition has been going well so far. And Bradley, I'll let you talk about what that transition feels like. On my end, I know what it feels like, but what does it feel like on your
Right. Well, it's good to be here and good to have you all here. I know most of you here on this call. And I would say the transition actually, I'll back up. When Adam took me to lunch and he told me, I just gave him this look like, okay, I'm waiting for the punchline. And he was like, "No, I'm for real." And and when he mentioned to me that that the board selected me as the interim, and he looked at me, he was like, "So how do you feel about that?" I'm like, "Okay." Um, so I would say that, and I said that with confidence because since I've been at Build, I want to say that I've been a lot of times at Adam's right hand for a lot of things. And Adam has given me a lot of much autonomy. And so for the transition, most of it was a download of there are things that only the CEO does and knows about and has those conversations about. So it's been a download of those things. And so we all know, those of us who know Adam, we know that most things are in his head. And so to get that download. So he wrote down, some bullet points of some things, and we've been going through them. So I was on vacation, which I had already planned for what was that, last week. And so when I came back from Monday, I was in his office pretty much the whole day. We met again and again and again. And so there's been a steady download of things. And then it's been also scheduling meetings with the chiefs, and then talking with pretty much everybody. And so we do have a plan in place, and a strategy
I'm
for
back here.
how we unload. And so I want to say the transition actually has gone well. And I think largely because I've been here, uh, 8 years. and have been involved in a lot of things. Adam is true when he says that we have a great leadership team. Adam has shared authority, shared power, shared decision making with us. And so none of this is going to be, it's not necessarily new to me because I know that it's not just me, it's all of us.
Amen. And I know that we'll have a chance to dive deeper into Bradley's at our next Zoom. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. And more questions in the chat about one from Christine about do you envision Build and the Y collaborating on any projects?
Of course. I mean, if Build was born out of the Y, the child cannot forget the parent or vice versa, right? No, absolutely. I think there's absolutely so much, I hate to use the word synergy, but there's so much similar work that both organizations do and important work in our city that would only stand to reason that we would be connected and collaborative. So and anyone who knows me, maybe to a fault, is I've almost never said no to anyone, right? Working with them, figuring out a partnership, how to make it happen. Um, and that goes with me because that's who I am and will bring that with me.
Also, questions about what are some of your favorite memories of your time at Build?
So many, so many. Um, The one that I chuckle about the most because again, it just ignorance is bliss, and I'm grateful that I've been had that through a lot of these bigger things we did. But I mentioned when Bradley and I came together and we were planning this big Summer of Opportunity event. It was in Columbus Park. So if you know Columbus Park, it is the entire park. We were shutting down Jackson, which cuts right down the middle of the park. We had applied for permits. We had sponsorship. We had 250 volunteers from Breakthrough Beverage who were going to be there, and a parade on top of everything else, plus over 50, 60 vendors. Um, it was our first time doing something to that scale. And I think when the permit, I didn't realize how permits work in the city, that you actually had to have one first before you went forward with your event. I was like, well, I submitted and paid, so I'm sure we're good. Um, but I'm grateful to the leadership of CPD. Obviously, it was then Lieutenant Cato who was like, oh, okay, let me shut down streets. It was beautiful because everyone was worried about having so many people converge together. And with over 3,000 people in a park, there was like one quick skirmish between kids and then it ended. It was beautiful. And I remember Lieutenant Cato saying, this is the first time I've ever seen families smiling and having fun together in the park. And and that was because our big dreams, right, Bradley, that we thought we could do this. We knew we could. It was big, and we did it. And then had a parade down Jackson with all the pomp and circumstance and band and vehicles. Like I think we were all the way backed up into Garfield Park, if I'm not mistaken, for the lineup before we actually came into the park. Um, that's probably my one of my most fondest memories because it showed me the power of possibility and that everyone really working together for something so big, but we all knew it was the right thing to do. Um, One of my fondest memories for sure. And then, of course, Halloween. Spooky Farm and Halloween. Oh my gosh. Like, you can't take that away. 2 incredible years of playing dress up, being out there, scaring people. Yeah, fun.
A related question, will you come back and visit Build often, perhaps dressed as the demonic nun for Halloween?
If Bradley will have me back, unless he wants to assume the role of none, I will absolutely come back. Uh, this is family. This is home, right? And what's our saying? Once a builder, always a builder, right? So, um, I will always feel that this is home for me, and will always find ways to come back and be here. And by all means, call me for Halloween. It's in my calendar.
Um, Another question about about upstream stuff and about how the upstream work that Build's been involved with and how that's going to go forward.
Yep. So Upstream Chicago, which has been a coalition um, of nonprofits and organizations that have been really working together to really solve for the problem of coordinated system for prevention organizations. That work will continue on. I've been at the helm of that and will continue as I go transition over to the Y. Build will continue to be an active partner and a part of that, as we have been from day one. It's exciting, and if anyone's interested in knowing more about sort of Upstream and its evolution, feel free to reach out to us because it is kind of moving into sort of the right direction of planning, putting together a citywide plan, thinking about dollars that come with that to really support the efforts of infrastructure building, and then quite possibly even moving towards being able to fund programs. But the one thing I will share that I think is super exciting, and this is not to take away from any other efforts over the years, is that there's going to be and continues to be a very strong emphasis on quality um, and incentivizing programs to be quality. There are standards within the state, there are national standards, and so I'm excited to hear that because quantity is great. Sometimes you need a lot, but you need high quality programs to really make a difference. And so, but you don't get incentivized. You don't get more money because you've been accredited or because you can prove that your team and your programs are high quality through an assessment process. And so, really pushing for policy changes that would equal more money to organizations who can prove quality. So,
Question about how the staff has reacted to Adam's departure. I can say that just I can just chime in a little bit, and other staff who are on this call, please feel free to chime in. How,
uh-oh.
how is how has the staff reacted? I think we went through the emotions of sadness and surprise, only because we celebrated Adam's 10-year build anniversary in the spring, and he said he was excited and happy to stay past his promised 10 years. Um, and a little bit of that, but honestly, it went really quickly to being just proud of Adam and excited and feel a lot of confidence in leadership about going forward. And just the prospect of having a builder in charge of something as big as the Y was a big thrill for everyone. But you know, and then of course the next question everyone had was, well, what kind of goodbye party are we going to have? So that I think that about covers it for my side. Any other builders on the call who want to chime in? Just covers it all.
Well, yeah, I'll say this. I think everybody first there was this shock because like Bill and Adam, it's just like here at Bill, we love Adam and we expect him to be Adam all the time. But so to say, I'm not going to be here anymore. Uh, at first that was like, there was this pause, but afterwards we were reminded about the power of this organization and the contributions of everybody from the security person at the door to the person who's mopping the floors to the cafe to the intervention and up. Uh, we all make Build amazing. And then just the notion that the organization is great because of all these pieces and the leadership that we have. And I think once we all had that realization that we actually have it all. Adam kind of pointed and we kind of created and did it. He was like, oh, I have an idea. And then we kind of made it. And so really tapping into the power that we have. And I think once we start to realize that, I think that fear and all that stuff started to dissipate. And then it was like, what's next? And then they announced my name. So, so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I think Adam immediately started talking about his love for the Love Boat and a Love Boat themed goodbye party. A lot of people may not have gotten every Love Boat reference, but there you are.
Well, I want to say that it was actually Lisa who
Oh,
was like, "We need to have a party on the decks," and I was like, "All aboard, party on the decks! Here we go. Let's get started." So, I blame her or contribute that to her, but why not go out with a theme and some fun? And it's you're absolutely right, and Bradley and Kirsten, I think. I have always firmly believed and have said this to staff is that my job is no more important, and I really believe this, than any other person's job. It's different. My responsibilities are different than, to your point, Bradley, the person whose job is to keep our facilities clean and orderly, to the front desk person whose job is to greet and make sure people are coming in, that they get service and support and help, right? To every frontline person, we just have different jobs. And that collectively, we all work in service to young people and community and families. And so, um, I'm glad that people own that because that is truly the way we should always think about the work is that everyone has power. Everyone has the ability to make the right choices every single day, and everyone has a choice to lead, right? You're leading young people, even if it's in an activity and you may be an entry level specialist. These kids are holding on to you for hope, for happiness. You come in with your excitement, and there's staff that that they just love and they can't wait to see. That's not Adam, right? But that's the power that people understand that they should live out their professional career as such, and that no one job in this institution, in this organization, is any more important than anyone else's. We're all just have different job descriptions. So, isn't that
maybe
right,
related.
Kenyatta?
Um, yeah, another question
Right.
related is the Y will be a very different kind of an organization. What are some lessons from Build that you think you'll be able to take with you?
Um, not knowing all of the innards of the why, but I think first and foremost, again, that everyone has a responsibility and everyone's job matters. Um, Building a team that has that cares and knows that young people are first, families are first, that's critical. Um, and I think you can't take yourself too seriously, right? I mean, look at me. I don't take myself seriously, and maybe I should a little bit more every now and again. But you have to have a level of just humor and just being able to kind of sit back and laugh at some things. And honestly, humility, I think, is important, um, and to bring that in. And I think just have fun, right? The work is deep, the work is heavy at times, the work is hard. Summers in particular, we know how they are. Whew. 7, 8 hours all day with young people make you age quickly, even when you're young. But you have to have a moment of just this is fun, this is great, and just to really enjoy the good times together. Yes, chickens. I will miss the chickens too. Sorry, guys, I'll miss everybody, but I'll miss those chickens. Maybe that's what I need to bring to the wire, some chickens. So definitely.
What are some other things that you're gonna miss over your 10 years?
Um, I think certainly all the events have been amazing and fun, and we'll definitely miss that. I think more importantly, more recently, is that pickleball. I love the fact that we brought pickleball here to the west side to build, and that all the least likely expected to like pickleball guys and girls have all shown up and really have come to learn the enjoyment of playing pickleball. And, Booney, for those of us who know Booney, is the biggest pickleball guy ever, and is the one who promotes it the most. But yeah, I'll miss all of that. I'll miss, the farm in the summer is just absolutely beautiful. And I know we post about it all the time, but when you're here, You see the bees buzzing through the bioswale and all the flowers in bloom. Jovan's garden when it's in bloom, in particular in the spring, like those are things I'm gonna miss. And just the laughter and having a good time. And I'm grateful to the team that has allowed me to be me. Grateful to the board that has allowed me to be me. And yeah, those are just a few more of the things I guess there's a lot I'm gonna miss. Don't ask me that question. I'm gonna have to go down that road.
What do you hope for the Build's next leader? What do you think they will have to bring to the Build's future?
Yep. Um, Build's next leader will have to one be attuned to young people and community. You have to understand what's happening and not just hear it and let it bounce off you, but really internalize the things you're hearing, seeing. Um, you'll have to tune the next leader to the team. Um, we always talk about culture of an organization and how important it is, and it always feels to me that it's like a child or a baby. You have to care for it. You have to pay attention to it. You have to make sure that you're not disregarding things that are happening. So someone who's going to care a lot about culture. Um, and getting to know people, that's critical. You can't have a leader who comes in and just quote unquote gets right to work. You have to get to know everyone in the institution. You have to get to know folks in who are coming for services and programs. um, and I think always with any leader, you have to have a vision. You have to know how to implement your vision, and that you need to know how to rally folks around not only that vision, but sometimes it's an event, sometimes it's an activity, right? Um, have to be able to bring people along with you. So those are just, I think, some of the critical things that Build's next leader will have to continue to build upon. And, I think there are tough times ahead for everybody in every organization, no matter what. And again, being brave, um, and knowing that this too shall pass, having that.
Mhm. Those are all the questions I have in the chat. Do you have what are your do you have final wrap-up thoughts, Adam, or questions for that you want to pose?
Um, no, I mean, the only sort of final thoughts I have, just thank you all, for jumping on the call. Thank you all for supporting me. For as long as I've known you and worked with you and have been a part of Build. It's been truly an honor, um, and so much fun. It's been hard, let's be clear. There's been hard, horrible things to kind of have to work through, but those are the things that how you grow up in leadership, right? Tough times really help people grow. And I'm excited, as Bradley knows, for him to be step into the role of interim. I know the build is in great hands with him, Kirsten, with you, and again with Chris, Andres, Monique. I know that this team and our directors and our all of the folks that build do great work every day they show up. And so I know this bill will continue on to be strong. And I think Adele said it best, right? Hank knew this would go beyond, and as that's the founder, so very different. But I know Bill is in great hands and will continue on the good work, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. And people are putting good wishes in the chat. Please feel free to unmute and say them in person, Cassandra, Nora.
Thanks, Cassandra.
Well,
Adam, I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you a whole lot. And I have a lot of faith in that Bradley will carry it on since you mentored him. And he was like your work husband, wife
That's
all
right.
the time. And I put in the chat that it was love at first sight. I remember when I
Oh.
first met you, the enthusiasm that you showed when you were sitting in the South Shore Bank building,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it was the vision that you had to build what you built. I was extremely excited for my community, as I
Awesome.
had just retired from the Chicago Police Department, and I was like, what am I going to do? I just look around in my community, and you gave me a lot of hope and vision just to see that building. I watched it get built every
Mm-hmm.
day. I
Mm-hmm.
went past it looking at the progress. I just want to thank you for everything.
Thank you so much, Cassandra. It's been so great to know you. I will continue to know you, Cassandra, so this isn't goodbye. My distance of where I work will be a little bit further away, but I'm grateful. And you, early on, were very kind to me. I wasn't always well received in the beginning, by community necessarily. And you were great, and you welcomed me and made me feel like I could do it and that I belonged as a part of the work that I was doing and part of the community. So thank you, Cassandra. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Well, Adam, it's Siobhan, and Vaughn, if you hear them in the background.
Thank you.
As you stated, yes, I was waiting for you to say, haha, gotcha, not leaving. But, I feel like over the years, we've watched each other grow.
Mhm.
Me from a board perspective, and you being the leader of this great organization. And I just wanted to let you know that I'm proud of you. And, this is a great step for you. And like I said, as long as you don't kick us to the curb and you continue to stay and you get those 4 tables for the gala, we're all good.
There you
So,
go.
but I'm truly grateful to have been able to work with you. And as you know, the board fully supports you. And we're grateful for how you have brought this organization in alignment with your team, along with your team, to the place that it is now, and has set us up for even more great things to come. So thank you for that. And you will be truly missed, but I'm sure we will still see you at Build, and we're looking forward to that. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Siobhan. Thank you.
If if I can say, I don't know. I feel like I probably don't know Build as well as a lot of people on this call, but I was very fortunate to know Build in 2019 and get called by my friend Heidi to come join. And I just wanted to say that my reactions when I got the email, Adam, was first I was just like, oh, shit. I was like, oh my God. So it was like the panic. Then I went, then I also thought, oh my God, that is so great for United Way. I'm so excited Adam is going to be running that place because that's going to be so great.
Well, the Y, not the United
But
Way.
YMCA.
sorry, excuse me.
But if United Way is in the mix somewhere, Nora, I mean, hey.
Yeah. Sorry, maybe that's next. But the why. Thank you, Kristen. And then the third thing was I was very excited that Bradley was the interim.
Mhm.
So I kind of went like, ah, and then I was like, okay, this is good. This is good. So I just
Thank you,
wanted to
Nora.
say the stages of grief and acceptance and excitement. So
Awesome. And Nora worked with us on our capital campaign, so it was my first ever. And I'm sure they were like, who is this guy? Because they were very professional, as they should be. And I was a goof, which I shouldn't have been. But it was great. I learned so much from you. And thank you, Nora, for joining the team, you and Heidi to help us. And Kirsten was just getting started with us, jumped right in. So. A lot of bravery, like I said, a lot of bravery.
Amen. Well, thanks to everyone who's here. Thanks to everyone who has been with us. And of course, join us once again on July 9th when Adam and Bradley are going to sit down, inside the actor's studio style
Nice.
and have a conversation about where Build is going next.
And I'm gonna have tough questions for you, Bradley, so be ready.
Hey, I expect nothing less.
All right.
Then I'll get you back on the pickleball
I'm
court
sure you will.
because you know who's the best.
That's the challenge. That's the challenge. Awesome.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for coming today, and happy summer, and we appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh yeah, we'll live stream the pickleball.